Hello, my name is Danny Nowlan and I'm the Director of ChassisSim Technologies. Today in this ChassisSim tutorial, what I'd like to talk to you about is some of the new features that we've got in ChassisSim version 3.24 and some really cool features that we've thrown in. First things first, version 3.24 is a pretty good enhancement from version 3.22 and version 3.23. What we've concentrated on with the version 3.24 release is not necessarily big showstopper features in terms of ChassisSim version 3.24. Rather, what we've done is really refined ChassisSim in the right areas to make it even more powerful. For instance, one of the things that we've thrown in with version 3.24, for those of you who are using the 7-post shaker rig toolbox, you'll see here that you've now got the option to run a complete rig replay. That's been requested by a few users in the ChassisSim community, and what it does is it just returns a time plot of dampers, heave, contact patch load variations so that you can have a more detailed look of what's actually going on underneath the surface. For those of you who are getting started with the shaker rig toolbox, I would probably suggest you unclick that for the time being, but for the more advanced users, that's going to be a really good feature that you can basically use tools such as MATLAB or DataView to have an even more even more in-depth look at what the shaker rig is actually doing. We've also done some refinements in terms of just fine-tuning stuff with inerters that we've seen from feedback from some of our customers, and that's been incorporated in with quite a good deal of success. And as always, as we always get feedback from our customers, there's always been little bits and pieces that we'll throw in. However, the big thing that's new in ChassisSim version 3.24 is what we in ChassisSim now call the ChassisSim tutorial. What is the ChassisSim tutorial, you ask? Well, what the ChassisSim tutorial is what it is in the help directory in ChassisSim, you'll see that whenever you install ChassisSim, it'll be installed in ChassisSim Technologies, ChassisSim version 3.24, and you'll find a help directory. In there, you'll see the quick start guides and various other reference materials that will help you get you going with ChassisSim. The thing that we've added in with ChassisSim version 3.24 is what we at ChassisSim call the ChassisSim tutorial. What the ChassisSim tutorial is a complete step-by-step process to show you how to get going with ChassisSim. And what we've done here is we give you a setup sheet, we give you a monster file, we've given you a data file with actual race car data, and more importantly, we've got a complete document that will walk you through step by step everything that you need to get going to create a ChassisSim car model that you can use for some rough analysis. And really the goal with this, with the ChassisSim tutorial, is to get you over the beginner hump, because it's like with anything else. Every time that you do something for the first time, it always takes a little bit long. It always takes quite a long time. You're getting your head around what to do. You don't quite know what to do. The goal of the ChassisSim tutorial is to get you through that hump. And the way we're going to get you through that hump is if you follow this tutorial to the letter, what you'll find is this will walk you through the ChassisSim process and will form the bedrock for you walking through the ChassisSim quick start guides. So really, I cannot recommend for those of you who are already experienced ChassisSim users and those of you who are novice ChassisSim users, it's a really good guide to help get you through that hump. And in particular, I really want to send this message out to those of you who have obviously been on the ChassisSim YouTube channel, been to the ChassisSim blog. You've looked at all the tutorials, you've read all the documents, and you're thinking, yep, ChassisSim's a good idea, but you know what? I'm really nervous about using it because, you know what? I don't want to pay for a bunch of online sims that, when I screw up, or alternatively, you're a member of a race team and you're thinking, yeah, I need simulation, but you know what? I'm really nervous about putting in front of my team manager, etc., etc. Well, I'm here to say that those days of concern are now over, because what you'll find with the ChassisSim tutorial is that we're now going to give you a step-by-step process of everything that you need to do to get over that beginner hump. And indeed, One of the things that we've done in the help directory is we've given you a completed car file and a completed monster file. So if you do get lost, you can always go back to this example as a baseline. So for those of you who are sitting on the fence with ChassisSim, don't take my word for it. Go to the ChassisSim website, download the professional online incarnation of version 3.24, buy a few credits, we'll top it up from our end, and throw some mud on the wall and see for yourself just how easy it is to get through that hump. Because I guarantee you, once you're through that hump, you're really going to see what a powerful tool ChassisSim can be. Also, too, to give you a little bit of a preview of what's coming down the line, as I mentioned at the beginning of the tutorial, there are a number of refinements we've made with ChassisSim version 3.24, and this is going to be the subject of a bunch of ongoing tutorials. However, for the time being, what I'd really encourage you to do is don't take my word for it. Go to the professional. For those of you who are not ChassisSim users, sign up for Professional Online, buy a few credits, work your way through the tutorial. It's all step by step, and you'll see that at the end of the day, ChassisSim isn't anything to be scared of at all. If anything, you get through that beginner hump, you will get to a point where this will become a tool that will be invaluable. But don't take my word for it. Get going with ChassisSim, and I look forward to catching up with you in the next tutorial.